So let's talk about what you saw yesterday. Okay, so out of the last part of your analysis, what was the hard part out of looking for the shift, looking for the main idea, looking for the purpose, and looking for the claims? What was the toughest part, do you think? What'd you have?
The thesis.
The thesis, finding the claim. Okay, good. What else?
The main idea.
The main idea. So listen, the main idea is this. The main idea, you could look at wherever the shift is and do a sentence before the shift and a sentence after the shift. Would that cover everything that's happening in the paper? Yeah, right? I mean, that would cover, without being specific where you go in and point to like a specific sentence. Okay? How do we plan our essays? With what kind of chart? A T-chart. Okay, so we're going to start here. All right. Where did y'all decide? Nikira, did y'all decide that there was did you find a second shift? Like, did you find a first and a second?
Yeah, but we thought one was stronger than the other.
Okay, great. Love that. So we talked about like where you could have an additional shift, right? We'll actually read something from Alfred Green here in a few weeks where some people see two shifts within it, which is fine. Okay, but you talked yourself out and said that one of them wasn't as strong as the other. Love it. Okay, where did everybody, so in your group, where did y'all say the shift was?
6 and 7. Yeah.
Between 6 and 7? Okay. Oscar, did y'all stick with your between 4 and 5?
We shifted back and forth. But
Okay.
I think we would agree with them. 6 and 7 was a stronger shift.
Okay. So then so we're going to label paragraphs 1 through 6 is going to be in our first body paragraph.
Is that a paragraph symbol?
Yes.
Can you tell me?
Y'all didn't learn that?
No.
One line. Y'all didn't learn this?
No.
Y'all didn't learn editing marks?
No.
Shame on your teachers. 2 lines.
Ms. Parker says you do teach. Backwards.
It's not a backwards P.
You sure? I don't know. It looks like a backwards P with another line.
Whatever that is, that's a paragraph symbol. Welcome to what I just taught you your junior year. That's insane. Okay, so this is paragraphs, 7 through, what do we have, 11? 7 through 11. Okay. Now, remember, these are our assertions, right? And remember, with that, what did we do with each column? We did what with this T-chart? Just divide it in half again. Okay. So this one, how would you group paragraphs 1 through 6? Look real quick and see. Do you feel like there's a couple of paragraphs? And it does not have to be even. It does not have to be 1 through 3, 4 through 6. It could be 1 through 5 and then 6. How would you group paragraphs? Talk in your groups how you would group paragraphs 1 through 6. Divide that into 2 parts. And 7 through 11. Divide that into 2 parts.
Quick question.
Yes.
So I know you said like they're not together. So could we like go 1 through 3, 4 and 6, then back to 5?
No. You want to do everything chronological order.
1 through 2, I say 1 through 5, and then 6. Or it could be 5 through 6.
All right, you ready? Where do you think, Easton, you want to put down your computer or your phone? Remember, I love coming out to football practices watching kids run. I go get my Route 44 and I sit up in the stands and I text your coach and say like, hey, Easton can't be bothered to pay attention in class.
But you do that for real?
Oh, yeah.
Like sitting and watching?
Oh, yeah. Bring my fan, bring my Route 44, sit in the stands. I'm like, hey, Easton, how are you?
You got time for that?
I'll make time for it. All right, so paragraphs 1 through 6. Where did y'all say y'all would divide your paragraph? Or where would you divide your evidence?
1 through 4.
Okay, so 1 through 4. Did anybody else say anything different? whatever your group said, you can group it however. So then the last one would be 5 through 6. Now, I heard some of y'all say 1 through 3, 4 and 5, and then 6. So that's fine. You would end up adding another chunk. Here's my problem. You are going to struggle to write 2 chunks per body paragraph without sending in a third. Does that make sense? So you can do it. Once you get a little bit better, you'll write a little bit faster and you'll know how to kind of get in and get out of your chunks very easily. But okay, where would you say the next one, 7 through 11? How would you break up those? Talk in your groups. 7 through 9, 10, and 11? Okay. All right. Now, notice I haven't written my thesis and I haven't looked at my assertions yet. Okay? We do like Drake says. We start from the bottom. Don't you roll your eyes at me, Nakira. I know it's played out, but don't you roll your eyes at me. Okay. So look at your paragraphs 1 through 4. What is something like a piece of evidence that you annotated? Remember, we're looking for high dollar evidence. We're looking for evidence that would allow you multiple pieces of analysis. In your groups, talk about what piece of evidence are you drawn to in paragraphs 1 through 4.
We've never lost an astronaut in flight.
I think we know we share this pain with all the people of our country. This is truly national loss. So they took it from like 7 people dying to this is like a widespread problem.
The Challenger 7 were aware of the dangers, but overcame them and did their job brilliantly.
All right, paragraphs 1 through 4. What was a piece of evidence that you are drawn to that would give us some room to analyze? To support our big idea that we haven't labeled yet. You're trying to go back into, you don't have a big idea yet. So it's fine. We get it from the evidence. We look and see what the evidence tells us. What'd you have?
The Challenger 7 were aware of the dangers, but overcame them and did their jobs brilliantly.
Okay, I like that. So I'm going to put in here Challenger 7 were aware of the dangers, but
Well, you're saying that the people that were in the show were aware that something would go wrong?
I mean, always, because they're in a craft that the technology isn't as far, right?
Well, I feel that it's a big idea now that support is.
Don't worry about that yet. You just hold up. My process will work, I promise. All right, 5 through 6. What is something that 5 through 6, a piece of evidence that you feel like you are drawn to because the language is good, the pattern is good, there's a list in there, there's something that stands out. In your groups, talk about paragraphs 5 through 6, find a piece of evidence.
I know it's hard to understand, but sometimes painful things like this happen. That's a good follow-up to that one.
Yes.
All right. What did we like? So this piece of evidence we would label as, like, what type of evidence would you say that this, like, Challenger 7, that they were aware of the dangers? What type of evidence would you say on your list of evidence? What would you say? This is where you'll actually look at your types of evidence under the evidence part.
Expert opinion. Experiments.
They aren't the experiment. I mean, I guess kind of they were. Too soon?
Would it be personal observation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be personal observation. I could go with that. Okay, what is the second piece of evidence that y'all really liked? From what paragraph?
The fifth paragraph, where they moved to the town for criminal pioneers.
Okay, so multiple times, right? Or is it just once? Pioneers. We're still pioneers. They. Hi. It's on my desk. There's 2 forms. And you're going down to Miss Johnson's. It's Miss Westridge.
Is that in
The blonde. No. Miss Johnson's secretary. So all the way past the rotunda, past, yes. I mean, it's the opposite end of the building. Okay. They, the members, where am I, of the Challenger crew. We're pioneers. Okay, so what type of evidence is this? Thank you. What type of evidence is this? Look at your list. It's different than personal observation. He's comparing them to pioneers. It's what? Analogy. Yep.
Analogy.
Okay, there's our 2 chunks. Now, what do these 2 chunks have in common? Talk in your groups. Try to find a word or 2 that is not in the text that would help you to figure out what those 2 pieces of evidence have in common. Talk in your groups. Figure it out. Yes.
So like, we can do this, or like, how can we do it like so quickly?
You'll get quicker. So, I mean, all this is doing is this is going back to your annotations. That's why annotations are so important, right? So that now you're not having to read it. So what you were drawn to may be different than what she's drawn to, maybe different than what he's drawn to. Does that make sense? So that's why your annotations are so important, because whatever you're drawn to is what you'll end up dropping into your chunks, right? It'll get easier, I promise, right? And the shift too, like, especially if you're marking the shift first, what I've found is if you mark the shift first before you even read, you're now more aware that you're looking for that shift throughout, so that when you get there, now you've already divided your paper in half. Does that make sense? So now you found your shift. Now you can go look at 2 pieces of evidence that you like from the first part and 2 pieces of evidence that you like from the second part. All right, anybody find the big idea or what they have in common? Bravery. Okay, so they're described as like heroes, right? So bravery or heroes. Okay, so look at what my first assertion is going to be. In the first half of the passage, or in the first half of the speech, Reagan, I don't like the word argues. There's another marker verb that we can use that's on your list maybe somewhere. Let's say illustrates. There you go, the bravery of the Challenger crew. All right. There's your kind of abstract idea in there, right? Do those 2 pieces of evidence support that idea?
Yes.
Boom. So now when you analyze, you're going to analyze how does this show bravery? What I would probably do, you won't be able to do it now or on a test, but what I would do if you were writing this in a group is I would go and look up the definition for bravery. And now I would say, what attributes of this prove bravery? What in the language showed us, right? This idea that they are aware but overcame. Those 2 things to me stand out, right? It was a conscious choice, just like with the Gillette commercial, it was a conscious choice that they had to make. You with me? Okay. We're still pioneers. This idea of still, meaning that we have overcome. Right? We're still pioneers, meaning that we are still overcoming. Right? Okay, we're still pioneers. And then you look at this idea of what is a pioneer. So then I would look up the definition of a pioneer and say, how did these people show the idea that they are pioneers? Who are pioneers? What did they do? Good? With your group, go and find your 2 pieces of evidence for 7 through 9, 10 through 11. You got like 3 minutes, go. Go back to your annotations. You're not on bravery. You're on something totally different now.
We'll continue our quest in space. There will be more shuttle flights and more shuttle crews. Yes, more volunteers, more students, more teachers in space.
Did everybody answer that last night?
Nothing ends here.
What do you think?
Yeah, start space.
Is it close?
Yes, more volunteers. My hand's about to burn. That's right.
You have your evidence? You're still working?
Still working.
Okay.
Yeah, but if we just quote the name of that work right now, the crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger honored us by the manner in which they lived their lives. Or we will never forget them, or the last time we saw them. What do you guys think? For 10 11?
I think we'll never forget them. It's a good sentence.
Alright.
They really doesn't connect it first.
All right, y'all got it?
We'll never forget them and stuff, yeah. We'll never forget them the last time we saw them in spring.
Only if that had blue continue at the end.
I mean, you won't forget them, so.
So you know what type of evidence we're going to do that because personal observation from 10 to 11 because the crew screwed the shuttle honored us by the manner in which they lived their lives.
All right. Where? What piece of evidence did y'all like 7 through 9?
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our dreams continue.
What paragraph is that?
That's
Oh, it's in the 8. I like a couple of things in this. I like a couple of things. I like that it is combined with a semicolon. I could analyze that. I like that. So, do you see where I'm going? What would you say your big idea is for that second half? What do your two pieces of evidence have in common?
Establishing like confidence in the space program.
That's specific. What does he want us to do?
Move forward. Keep confidence.
Keep supporting the space movement.
Tate, what'd you say?
Move forward.
Move forward and live and let go. No, well, that's too cliche. Move forward with what?
With confidence.
Okay. Okay, do your pieces of evidence. Could you analyze them to that? You've almost written a paper except for your big idea.
So the thesis basically.
We have not written our thesis yet. Keep this with your paper. We will revisit this next week. Look, y'all not only learned something new in how to write the paragraph symbol for editing, but you also learned how to set up your body paragraphs. Yep. See y'all tomorrow.